Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. I am your host, Mike Malatesta. On this podcast, I dig in deep with every guest to get to the roots of their success, to discover not just how it happened, but why it matters. My mission is to expose the ideas and clues you need to inspire, activate, and maximize the greatness in you. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the How to Happen podcast. I'm so happy to have you here, as I am every week. And this is another one of my special Solo Friday episodes. It's a short little bite of something I've been thinking about and that I want to share. And this week, it's called Why I Didn't Know My Why. Why I Didn't Know My Why. So you're probably familiar with Simon Sinek. He is very famous for a lot of things, but one of the things he's definitely famous for is this whole concept of knowing your why, or finding your why, or living your why, or starting with why. And, you know, I think it's a great exercise, and knowing your why has to be an amazing asset in life, right? Especially provided that you can do more than just know it, that you can, you know, actually make it happen, for instance. And I also feel, and I think that knowing, or this whole pursuit of that, you know, knowing your why, that there's a lot of pressure, you know, about knowing your why. And when you start feeling like that, it feels to me like knowing your why, or feeling like you need to know your why, can be just as paralyzing as it can be exciting. And I'll share a story with you. And this is the most recent story. But I've heard this a bunch, and you maybe you have too. So let me know if you have. But it goes something like this. I was sitting with a parent of a former athlete that I coached, and his son was graduating from college, and he told me, well, you know, he doesn't know, you know, exactly what he's going to do post graduation, and he, you know, he said something like he really doesn't want to do something, just get a job, because he really wants to do something that, you know, has a purpose that aligns with him. And I kind of use why and purpose sort of interchangeably in these kinds of conversations. And when I heard that, I thought, oh, okay, so to me, that's maybe like this paralyzing thing that I'm talking about. And like I said, he's not alone. I mean, I think my kids have this too. And it may not be just young people, but I know it is young people, and they feel like, they think and they feel like they have to have a why to be worth, you know, anything, or to commit to anything. And I applaud that, I guess, but I also feel like it's putting a big wall up between, you know, making progress and experimenting with something to help you eventually find your why. Because in my experience, you know, having a why is not a place where you can start. Like, there are very few people who know their why at a young age, and there are very few people who know their why at an old age. It's funny, I coach high performing executives and entrepreneurs, and you'd be amazed how many people don't know their why. They don't know their why, their what, their how. They don't know any of that. But you know, they've made tremendous progress in their lives nonetheless. Now, maybe they, you know, when I get with them, they definitely want to go further. They want to get a better handle on that, but they made it a long way without, you know, really being able to articulate it. Now, maybe they do know it intellectually. They just have trouble articulating it, but I don't think so. I think they just put it to the side. And as I said, they still, you know, accomplish a lot and seem successful. But, for me, I don't think you need a why to take your first, second, or these days, even your 10th job. Whys to me are birthed. They're cultivated through experience, experimentation. They're cultivated through relationships and learning. They're not just epiphanies, I don't think. I think that having or developing a great why is a byproduct of moving through life. It can't be found at the starting line. You have to actually start the race. You have to start moving forward, and hopefully you find it, well before you get to the finish line of life. But I'd say that if you do, you're still one of the lucky ones. So I encourage, I want you to get it. I want you to find it. But it's really not a race to get there. You have to be in the race in order to get there. And then once you own your why, go ahead and maximize the hell out of it, because that's power. When you know your why, when you know what you are, on this earth to do, and you can do it, and it can satisfy not just that, but every other need that you have, your family need, your financial need, all of these other needs, then you've got a winning why for sure. But until then, I would suggest you get, put the TED Talks down and, let your why become your why. It's not a race, it's an exploration. So start exploring your life, and with an eye, be aware, keep your eyes out, know when something feels right, because that may be your why, but you may go down a path that you never ever thought was your why. That's what happened to me. I started down a path, in the trash business because I liked trucks and I liked trash, but I was I hadn't grown up wanting to be in the trash business or in the waste business. But you know what? After I took the job and I figured out, how to do it well, and I started, experiencing all different parts of the job, it started to become really cool to me. And so it started and then became a little bit more of my why and a little bit more of my why. And you know what? I was very fortunate to build two really great companies around a why that if you told me when I was graduating college or when I was going into college, that's where I would, find my why in life, I would have told you were nuts. And everybody around me would have told me you were nuts. So you just don't know. You just don't know where your why is. So get out there and experiment with it. Kick it around, get into things. And I think you'll see, if you're one of the lucky ones, that your why, will start to rise to the top like cream does. But if you wait for it to rise and be like, yes, it's risen, there's my why, now I can start doing something, I feel like a lot of life's going to pass you by. So that's my take on why I didn't know my why. And I do wish you tremendous success knowing your why. If I can help you know your why or get to know your why, reach out. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. And until next time, keep being inspired to activate the greatness in you. Thanks for joining me on the How Did It Happen podcast, and I'll see you next time.
Podcast is brought to you by Wincheck Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.